Third grade, I am so excited because we have reached my favorite reading story of the entire year. This story is absolutely hilarious. So, it's a folktale. It's in your big reading book on page 194. Okay, 194. And our essential question, if I can get my quick one out of the way here. Our essential question is, what makes different animals unique? Read about Martina. Find out how she chooses among her unique admirers. Now, normally when you think of like a pretty animal, what do you think of? You don't think of a cockroach? Today, we're reading about Martina, the beautiful cockroach. This is a Cuban folktale. It is retold, so it's a folktale, which means it's been passed on, so we don't really even know who the original author was. But this story is retold by Carmen Agradio. And then it's illustrated by Michael Austin. Okay, as we read, think about why maybe I think this story is so hilarious. Get out your Wednesday worksheet because you'll need that as well. Let's just get our name on it right away. Are you ready? Let's go. Martina, Josefina, Catalina Cucaracha was a beautiful cockroach. She lived in a cozy street lamp in old Havana with her big, lovable family. Now that Martina was 21 days old, hold up, 21 days old? She was ready to give her leg in marriage. 21 days old and she's getting married. Watch out. The Cucaracha household was crawling with excitement. Every senora in the family had something to offer. Page 196. Tia Cuca gave her una piñeta, a seashell comb. Mama gave her una mantilla, a lace shawl. But Abuela, her Cuban grandmother, gave her un consejo increíble, some shocking advice. Okay, so these words in italics, those are in Spanish. Okay, now I took I've taken 4 years of Spanish, so I'm by no means an expert. But in Spanish, they say things just a little bit different. So like mama, see how it's got an accent on that A? That's why it's mama instead of mama. Una mantilla, it's not mantilla. 2 L's in Spanish are a Y, so it's una mantilla, a lace shawl. But abuela, that means grandmother, gave her un consejo increíble. Okay, so that means some shocking advice. Here's the advice her grandmother gives her. Oh, look at her, so beautiful, just sitting right there. Turn the page. Page 198. You want me to what? Martina was aghast. You are a beautiful cockroach, said Abuela. Finding husbands to choose from will be very easy. Picking the right one could be tricky. But, stammered Martina, how will spilling coffee on a suitor's shoes help me to find a good husband? Her grandmother smiled. It will make him angry. Then you'll know how he will speak to you when he loses his temper. Trust me, Martina, the coffee test never fails. So a lot just happened here on this page. Martina's grandma is telling her that when she has all these suitors that want to come and they want to date her and they want to marry her, that she has to spill coffee on their shoes. Because if she spills coffee on their shoes, she'll see how they're going to talk to her when they get angry. And her grandma thinks that's a really beneficial thing to know. So what is the coffee test? Martina has to spill coffee on the shoes of everyone who wants to marry her. Go ahead, pause there. So Grandma just said, trust me, Martina, the coffee test never fails. Martina wasn't so sure. Meanwhile, Papa sent El Perico, the parrot, to spread the word. Soon, all Havana, from the busy sidewalks of El Prado to El Moro Castle, was abuzz with the news. Martina, the beautiful cockroach, was ready to choose a husband. You got to kind of look at the pictures in your book because it's just a big page. But you can see here the first suitor, the first guy that's going to come talk to Martina. She looks happy, doesn't she? Oh, wait. As was the custom, Martina would greet her suitors from her balcony under her family's many watchful eyes. Daintily, she sat down and crossed her legs and crossed her legs and crossed her legs. Get it? Because cockroaches have a ton of legs. She didn't have to wait long. Don Gallo, the rooster, strutted up first. Martina tried not to stare at his splendid shoes. Keeping one eye on his own reflection, Don Gallo greeted her with a sweeping bow. Caramba! You really are a beautiful cockroach. I will look even more fabulous with you on my wing. With that, he leaned forward and crooned. Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha. Won't she be my wife? Martina hesitated only for an instant. Coffee, senor? Right on cue, Abuela appeared. With a quick glance at her grandmother, Martina nervously splattered coffee onto the rooster's spotless shoes. Oh my, she said with mock dismay. I'm all feelers today. Kee-kee-kee-kee! The rooster was furious. Clumsy cockroach! I will teach you better manners when you are my wife. Martina was stunned. The coffee test had worked. Most humble offer, senor, she said coolly, but I cannot accept. You are much too cocky for me. So she sends the rooster packing. Next, we have the pig. Don Cerdo, the pig, hoofed up next. His smell curled the little hairs on Martina's legs. What an unimaginable scent, Martina wheezed. Is it some new pig cologne? Oh no, senorita. It's the sweet aroma of my pigsty. Rotten eggs, turnip peels, stinky cheese. Don Cerdo licked his chops and sang, Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha. Won't you be my wife? Martina had already left in search of coffee. She wasted no time with the pig. Grump, grump, squealed Don Cerdo as he dabbed at the coffee on his shoes. What a tragedy for my poor loafers. He really is quite a ham, thought Martina. Calm yourself, senor. I'll clean them for you. I'll say you will, he snorted. When you are my wife, there'll be no end to cleaning up after me. Martina rolled her eyes in disbelief. A most charming offer, senor, she said dryly, but I must decline. You are much too boorish for me. The coffee test had saved her from yet another unsuitable suitor. Number 2. What happens when Martina pours coffee on the pig? What did the pig do? You can write that answer right there. The pig was scarcely out of sight when Don Lagarto, the lizard, crept over the railing. His oily fingers brushed the little cockroach's lovely mantilla. Right, that was the shawl her aunt gave her. You shouldn't sneak up on a lady like that. I don't sneak. I creep, he said, circling Martina. For some reason, this fellow really bugged her. I've had enough of creeps for one day, said Martina. Adios. She sent him packing. But I need you. Wait! The lizard fell on one scaly knee and warbled. Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha, won't you be my wife? Martina sighed. Let me see if there's any coffee left. This time, she wasn't taking any chances. Martina returned with 2 cups for the lizard. Psst, psst, he spat. Don Lagarto was livid. He changed colors 3 times before he finally found his true one. And to think, he hissed, I was going to marry you. Martina stared at the lizard. You could have heard a breadcrumb drop. Food for thought, senor, Martina said icily. But I must refuse. You are much too cold-blooded for me. When her grandmother returned to collect the day's coffee cups, Martina was still fuming. I'm going inside, Abuela. So soon? See, I'm afraid of whom I might be next. Abuela drew Martina to the railing and pointed to the garden below. What about him? Martina looked down at the tiny brown mouse, and her cockroach heart began to beat faster. Tic-a-tay, tic-a-tay. Oh, Abuela, he's adorable. Where has he been? Right here, all alone. What do I do? Go talk to him, and just be yourself. Martina handed Abuela her piñata and mantilla, then scurried down to the garden. The mouse was waiting. Tic-a-tay, tic-a-tay. Hola, hello. His voice was warm like honey. My name is Perez. Hola, she whispered shyly. I'm Martina, the beautiful cockroach, he finished for her. You think I'm beautiful? The little mouse turned pink under his fur. Well, my eyes are rather weak, but I have excellent ears. I know you are strong and good, Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha. Then he squinted sweetly. Who cares if you are beautiful? Tic-a-tay, tic-a-tay. Martina, don't forget the coffee. It was Abuela. No, thought Martina. No coffee for Perez. Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha. See, Abuela, Martina knew better than to argue with her Cuban grandmother. With a heavy heart, she reached for the cup. But Perez got there first, quick as a mouse. He splashed Cafe Cubano onto Martina's shoes. Now the coffee was on the other foot. Martina was too delighted to be angry. At last, she'd found her perfect match, but she had to ask, How did you know about the coffee test? Perez grinned. Well, mi amor, my love, I too have a Cuban grandmother. The end. Number 3. Why doesn't Martina want to pour coffee on the mouse? Why not? Well, she didn't want him. She really liked him and didn't want him to get angry. Number 4. How do you know that Martina the Beautiful Cockroach is a folktale? What is the lesson? How do you know that it is not a true story? And number 5, why do you think people like to watch animals? What's interesting about them? When you're done with that one, go ahead and put this back in your Wednesday folder. Line 6 and 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So why not a vertical whirling winding bug that hops like a cricket crossing a rug? Okay, so he's comparing the helicopter to a cricket. All right, so for number 3, compares the helicopter to a cricket. Then in number 4, reread ornithopter. That was the second one. Use details to explain what the narrator thinks about the ornithopter. Do you agree with the narrator's point of view? Okay, so I want you to go back, reread the second poem, and explain what the author thinks about the ornithopter there.